Hello everybody, I'm Matt and welcome to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about Batman issue 1 by Matt Fraction, Jorge Jimenez and Tomo Mori. Batman gets a new #1 refresh thanks to Hawkeye and Iron Man writer Matt Fraction, who wisely chooses not to continue the shit show Hush 2 had turned the previous run into and instead just practically starts anew. Out in the Gotham streets, Jim Gordon, who's now decided to restart his career in law enforcement as a beat cop, reminds his partner Espinosa that it's just Officer Gordon now, not Commissioner. The cops complain about the city's humidity, with Espinosa wondering how Jim can drink hot coffee on a warm day like this. Jim knows it just comes with being a cop. It's been a long time since we've seen Jim in a Batman book properly, and I love how we finally get him back into the swing of things as a cop again and kind of rising up through the ranks again. The cop's downtime is interrupted by Killer Croc, who destroys a meat van, eating its entire contents. Jim calmly tells his partner to call in since she'll soon learn in Gotham, you wait for backup. Batman meanwhile surveys the damage done to Arkham Towers by Wayland, telling Dr. Zeller that he's getting tired of this. The new doctor tells Batman that Wayland self-reported for treatments, so she doesn't know how he broke out of his containment unit. Batman knows that Wayland hasn't been Wayland in a long while. He's Killer Croc, and he tries to keep them separate in his mind, since it's easier when they inevitably disappoint him. The doctor still thinks it's her patient and he needs help, citing how he's currently shedding his skin and turning into a giant monstrous crocodile-like creature. I kind of enjoy Batman's cynicism here. He doesn't think that these people he's dealt with for years, constantly battling them over and over again, they keep repeating the cycle, and he doesn't think they can change because of it. It's juxtaposed nicely with Wayland literally changing and mutating into something else, as well as Dr. Zeller here, this new character coming in and thinking that she can actually do some good in Gotham and actually help these people. Something we've seen many a doctor in Arkham try and do, and often always kind of fail at that job, so I'm intrigued to see what Zeller is going to do here. Apart from that, this is all kind of rather obvious where it's going to go. Batman's going to face this and figure out that people can evolve and change, and we've seen it all before, so I'm hoping Fraction has something interesting to add to it. Batman tells Zeller to stall the cops when they come, since if they find Croc first, they will shoot to kill. Batman takes off through Gotham's skyline, and man, Gotham has never looked so good. Fraction has said that he spent a very long time plotting out where everything is and the layout of the city, and it shows in these double-page spreads where you can see, the Gotham Empire building is over there, Wayne Enterprise is over there, there's the main thoroughfare of the city and all these billboards. It's really cool. It has a sense of scale and a sense of direction of where everything is in relation to where Batman is going. As Batman flies through the city, the news covers various goings-on in the city, like the mayor going through some sort of scandal again, green gas coming up out of the sewers near schools, the ninja problem springing up thanks to unregulated dojos, and businesses selling off tactical core sets to protect their high elite. It's thoroughly fun stuff, and I feel like this has been missing in a Batman book, just weird and little wacky background details and stories happening in and around Gotham. Across town, Commissioner Vandal Savage introduces his new private security, the Tactical Urban Combat Officers, or the TUCO, with their first mission being to bring Killer Croc to justice. Gathered cops ask what happens when they eventually see Batman, and Savage tells them that Batman will not outrun justice. Batman meanwhile has made it to the new Batmobile, which I love is just the one from The Batman, slightly modified to look a bit more comic booky. Surprisingly, Bruce is having a conversation with a ghostly visage of Alfred, who asks where they are going. Alfred tells him that he's playing a hunch, since either Zeller was right or he is, and people can change or they can't. Alfred asks which he finds is the worst outcome in that situation, but Batman hears the cops on the radio calling for backup in Robinson Park, so he doesn't answer the question. Batman races off to the park as two women escape through the park as they are pursued by the gang called the Creeps, whose razor-sharp scissors snap at the women. Batman arrives, hitting them with his car as he leaps out to take down the goons as a few manage to run off into the dark. Batman apologizes he didn't get there sooner, knowing that they need trauma and medical attention. Batman picks a butterfly off one of the women's shoulders, citing it as a species that is quite far from home. So this isn't the first butterfly we've seen in this issue. There are lots on the billboard advertising a new exhibit in the Gotham Zoo, and also there's that symbolism there. A butterfly is something that is born from a chrysalis, is born from a little gross worm. Something gross turns into something new and beautiful, a transformation, which has been sort of a running theme throughout this entire issue. People can change, or can they? And I like that there's that symbolism there with the butterfly, because Killer Croc is going through some sort of chrysalis change as well. He's shedding his skin, he's becoming something else. Batman leaves the car to protect the women as he follows the several butterflies he sees, finding it leads back to the Gotham Zoo, which Killer Croc has ripped his way into. Inside the zoo, a security officer protects a woman and her child, calling for backup that isn't coming. He notes how Killer Croc is there and is just sitting in the exhibits not doing anything, and this is our first good look at the new Croc design, and I love it. It's gross, it's monstrous, but the way Jorge Jimenez draws the eyes, there is a humanity there and a little bit of kindness. I quite like how he draws Waylon. It's quite cool. Batman sneaks up on the guard, grabbing him and telling him to put his gun away since he's scaring the child and will just make Croc angry. Batman disarms the guard and tells him to contact Dr. Zeller at Arkham Tower since she can help them. He activates his Bat Gauntlets, intending on striking terror into Croc. Batman confronts Killer Croc, who instead of attacking just screams at the Batman, telling him to go. So far I've been loving what Fraction is doing overall with this book. Usually when a new writer comes in, there's like a big bombastic action set pieces, a big sweeping status quo change that kind of sets the stage for their run, or at least their first arc on the run and everything. But Fraction is just kind of doing the opposite. Things are action packed, but it's quieter. It's a lot more reserved than a lot of people who have come in to write Batman have done in the past. It just feels like another day in Gotham for Batman, and I quite like that there is no big status quo shift here or anything like that. Batman isn't even fighting Killer Croc here, he's just trying to determine what's going on with the villain and if he has changed, and is trying to figure out what has happened to him. As Batman approaches Croc, Alfred tells him that what if Zeller is correct and the creatures do in fact change, and some cycle has begun with Croc, making him something akin to a child now. A child Alfred cites is alone in a terrible violent world which is drowning him in fear, something Bruce should know all about. Bruce deactivates his gauntlets, removing his cowl and sitting with Croc, looking up at the giant dinosaur exhibit with him. He tells Waylon he used to have one of these dinosaurs in his home, and Waylon knows that Bruce had a big home at one point, and the man's head was messed up, but now it is healed, whereas his head is now bad and he feels lost. This isn't something I expected at all, but I love the idea of Bruce kind of being a bit more human with Waylon and safe knowing that he won't tell anyone who he is. Not that I don't think anyone will believe Killer Croc when he says that Bruce Wayne is Batman, but I like that he can have that moment with him of humanity and kind of reach out to him not as Batman but as Bruce Wayne, as a man. Waylon also knowing all of the things that has happened to Bruce lately with Failsafe, Zur-En-Arrh, and the myriad of other things he's had to deal with and how it messed up his mind is cool and gives him something to relate to as he feels lost himself. Waylon points to the T-Rex, knowing that he is like that, and he's big and scary and bad and hungry, and he can't think because of it, and because of that, he thinks he may be bad. Dr. Zeller and her team arrive to help out, offering Waylon a toy dinosaur. Zeller understands that Waylon made a bad choice, but he can also make a good one now by letting her help him. Waylon agrees, and as Batman returns, having put his mask back on, he gives him the toy dinosaur, asking who is going to help Batman. Batman knows that he doesn't need any help, although Waylon doesn't believe that for a second, leaving with the doctors. What a fantastic sequence. I adore when Batman gets to do things like this that are just so intimate and close to his villains. These are people as well. They are very sick people, and a Batman and a writer who recognizes that and wants to explore that beyond him just punching them in the face or practicing his karate on them is so satisfying. Gets me even more excited to what Fraction has in store for us in this run and what he plans on doing with some other classic Batman villains. Batman heads back to Pennyworth Manor, putting the little dinosaur on one of the shelves in the Batcave. Soon Robin contacts him, asking if they know anyone on the police force they are still friendly with, as Robin has managed to get himself caught by the police, and he's going to need some help. Batman issue 1 was a very fun new refresh to the Batman ongoing. It's something that was much needed and very well overdue. I love that Fraction has come in and instead of changing the status quo or doing like a big shift in character and narrative, it's business as usual for Batman. He's out in Gotham, he's stopping his villains, he's doing it in a very fun way that doesn't involve giant action set pieces that wreck half the city. I also really like that Killer Croc got to be the first villain that Fraction is writing for Batman here. He's a very underrated villain. If you've seen over in the Absolute Batman book what Scott Snyder is doing with him, there is a wealth of things you can do with the character and make him complicated and a deep, rich character beyond just being a big crocodile man. And I like that Fraction even sees that as well and is trying to do something different with him here. I can't wait to see what else he has in store for us with the other villains of Batman's rogues, as well as the other characters in Batman's life, like Jim Gordon and Robin here. I like that the Robin is Tim Drake as well. I'm very much looking forward to this run, and I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.